This is Naoki Yoshida.
This is Fern Halls.
And you are listening to Aetheryte Radio.
Aetheryte Radio.
Here we go.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Aetheryte Radio, Gamer Escape's Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm FusionX. Joining me today, we've got a picture, and we have the disembodied voice of Sinidra.
What?
And we have Aldino.
I'm here. I'm real. I swear. This time.
I'm not.
Wait,
I'm in the computer.
Were you
with
not
Daft Punk.
real previously?
Sometimes.
Oh.
I'll let you figure out when.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Well, everybody, you now have your task before you. This is episode 308. So go ahead,
Yep.
Start working your way backwards. See if you can find out which time Aldino wasn't real.
Remember, I do work in VFX. One of these years, for April Fools, I'm just going to be a complete VTuber. Just you wait.
You're going to be, or you're going to like pre-record stuff. You're going to be like one of those people that tries to get out of Zoom meetings.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't here the
I actually
whole
was
time.
going to say at the beginning of the episode, I was like, I don't know why you say those words anymore. Like you have them down to a science. You sound the same every time. Just make a recording, hit a button,
Yeah.
lean back, watch people be confused while you
There you go.
say a thing without saying it.
So today we're going to talk about our initial hands-on impressions with patch 7.2 Seekers of Eternity. We might get into some light spoilers or just full spoilers. It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'm sure, as you know, if you've been listening, we've kind of gone to an every other week schedule. So this week we'll talk about hands-on, and then next episode in 2 weeks we'll be doing our patch review. So that's how that's going to work. But first, before we get into that, let's talk about some news. We've got Hatching Tide is coming up April 9th to April 24th. And this time we're getting an umbrella that looks like an egg.
I'm a little disappointed.
Sorry, I have to go. Just one sec.
Huh?
Oh, what's he
After
doing?
the
I'm so worried.
after the previous prize, the really cool suit, I was like, oh,
Mm.
that's an umbrella I'll never use. Okay.
I mean, they can't all be bangers. How
You
do
know,
we?
maybe some people will really like it. Not everything is for me.
That's true. How do we feel about the patch artwork with Yida and
What is that?
Papa Limo?
Okay, I made a bad joke. I
Sure.
was like, had this up. I'm not religious. No disrespect meant. I was like, Easter's about like Jesus not being dead anymore and junk, right? So maybe like this is how we get the characters back, right?
Oh my god.
Right?
I'm gonna do something we rarely do. I wanna drag this into the onto the stream here for a second. Why does it look like Papa Limo's trying to stare into Yida's butt?
No, it doesn't.
He's like right into it, right?
I
don't
did not
know.
get that impression. That was not what I thought.
I don't have a big sense of depth here, so like they look like they're on the same plane to me.
No way. I could never think that of Papa Limo, one of the 7 good lollipops.
He's so
in the world.
pure. Leave my boy alone.
He gave his life for us. sorry, spoilers.
He Louis Swad 2.0'd. But yeah, it's so weird. Like I know that they obviously with Little Ladies Day they reused or they didn't reuse, but they added Thancred and Minophilia into the artwork. So now we have Yida and Papa Limo in this one. It's weird. It's a little weird. Like I get like Yoshida was talking about like the idea of they kind of opened up the possibility to use them in these event artworks so they could do something different, because I guess if you're an artist, there's we're doing like the 20th Hatching Tide, like what do we make for art for that? Well, okay, eggs. I don't know. I get it, but it's a little weird to me.
I used to do the art for a convention. I did it for probably a dozen years, and last year they were like, we're doing anniversary, that's the theme, anniversary, and I'm like, the hell do I do for anniversary?
You just reuse all the other art you did.
I thought about that actually. I was like, should I just redraw my favorite ones? Like,
don't even redraw it, just copy pasta, just here you go, easy.
I don't even remember what I did.
I'm sorry. My partner was like, water emergency. I need help. And I'm like, what?
Oh.
It's taken care of for now. So that's good.
Sometimes things happen. I had to kill a spider once, like these things just happen. Yeah.
All is well.
Excellent. Aldino, how are you feeling about Yida and Papa Limo in the Hatching Tired art?
Oh, in the Hatching Tired?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a low blow. It's a low blow. I miss Papa Limo, and I miss I wish I met Ida.
Yeah.
And not
That's not a thing
Ida.
we did.
Yeah. But hey, that's cool. I don't know. Because, they did Ulda, and that was Thancred and Minfilia.
Sure.
Right? This is Gridania, so it's those two, I would guess, right? Maybe they're going to do... Who was even in Limsa? Did I start there? I guess I started there.
Would have been Limsa. Maybe for the summer event.
Oh, well, that would make perfect sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see Y'shtola
but who's with Y'shtola, though?
No.
You need a pairing.
Nah.
Alpha and Ali say?
Maybe.
Would they double up the twins? That would we have 3 Scions instead of 2?
Do we have a pairing in Ulda?
It was Minfilia and Thancred.
Yeah, that was it.
I don't even really think of Minfilia as
right.
It'll be Y'shtola and gosh, who was the Ascian in 1.0? Was that Travanchet? We'll just just
goodness,
random throwback. Probably not. Moonbreeder?
Do the Admiral.
Or Urianger. They can do Urianger.
I feel like Urianger should be Ulda,
but they didn't have him there, so
yeah, I know. Maybe he'll be next year, or he a traveling
he's
boy.
next.
I think obviously like they would have to use the twins in the same event artwork, right? They're not going to divide them up. So I think
so, yeah.
for
why not? They do it all the time in the story.
Not like, well, I mean, yeah, it's on and off.
Yeah.
I think for was it Summer Breeze? I think I'm gonna call Y'shtola and Urianger in Limsa.
He's used to being kind of naked. It's fine.
Yeah.
What?
I mean,
it's just me and Charles at Magfest.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. We have to clarify this. Not the naked part, the character part.
The character part.
Oh no.
Yeah, come to Gateway. We'll be reprising. No,
no.
It's not happening. But yeah, Urianger drinking from pineapple.
Yeah.
As Y'shtola is the focus of the picture. I can see that.
Yeah, there you go. Easy.
Easy peasy.
So there you go. April 9th.
Done your work for you, Square.
April 9th.
I will probably
to April
rewear
24th.
Y'shtola.
Also, I mean, this is good news for you, Aldino. You can now pre-order the scenario and game master guide for the TTRPG.
Were you here for our TTRPG episode, Fusion?
Yeah.
I don't know that Charles is happy about that.
Well,
wow.
I'm happy to finally get the book to actually look at it. Because, the starter set, not a great value. The collector's edition, if you're going to play in person, go for it. Or if you really like it, go for it. Support it, right? But yeah, I've been waiting for the standalone books, right? For a long time now, since they announced it. So
been really curious about
the
scenario guide too. Since it's got Estinian, right? We're thinking probably Heaven's Word level stuff.
Because it won't go past there.
I feel like I definitely saw in the little pop out minis an Astro. So, the gerbs.
I'm over here like enhance.
They have that big floofy dress, so it's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
I see some goblins.
Yeah, because
I feel like they told us we would be getting Heaven's Word.
I actually. Okay. So I do. Yeah, I see. I see Machinist.
Yeah.
On the,
I mean, of course you see Machinist.
Well. So they have they basically have little cardboard figures, like you punch a thing out and you put it in a stand, right? So they still have just Warrior, White Mage, Dragoon, and Black Mage, and a Chocobo on display in the stands, but then they have like the sheets of paper, and I can see a Scholar and a machinist on that. So presumably then also Astro
Presumably.
and Dark Knight, right? Would
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah, because base does not have it in there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could come along with this, so that'd be great.
Yep. And if you would like the TTRPG scenario and game master guide, and the deluxe version, so much value with these little cardboard stands. $189.99. What?
No.
What?
Can't do that.
Square Enix.
Too expensive
Like that's
for me.
That's as much as the standard rulebook deluxe edition. It's the same price. And you don't get dice, you don't get a dice holder. It's cardboard. It's just more cardboard.
Yeah, I'm really unimpressed by the minis.
Yeah, that's
lots and lots and lots of games that are like half that price that aren't even TTRPGs have minis.
Yeah, that's a huge letdown. I mean, given how this launched originally, right? We said it's fine, but it was overpriced, and they're like, we would like to double down on that and reinforce the fact that yes, this is overpriced. If you want just the book, that's $70. So, man,
yeah,
that's rough.
That's still a bit too much.
I mean, even
Just gonna say.
the first release we had of the TTRPG was that starter set. That's $60. So
yeah. Now
more money for just book.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't understand it. Right. I don't know why they're insistent on that price, because like the D&D 5 player's handbook is like, what is it now? $30 now?
Oh wow.
No,
that's
it's
been
60.
out for a bit though, right?
Like it's been out for a bit, but their release, the player's handbook came out in September. Yeah, September.
Oh, okay, that's newer than I thought.
This is the new version. Yeah, the 2024 player's handbook. There's a new one as of last year.
Sure.
And then there's a new game master's guide, DM's guide. Sorry, different game. And Monster Manual just came out a couple weeks ago to a month ago, and they're each like $60 with digital.
Ooh.
Yes. And this is nope, doesn't have that.
I mean, I guess the argument, I don't know, air quotes on the word argument. I don't know, like, right? Obviously, D&D has been in this business a lot longer,
right?
Than
so it's more established and like, better prepared.
Hobby Japan, or like whoever was making the actual TTRPG. So they have the expert, they have more experience with it. They have the foundation for the stuff. Square does not. So like it makes sense, but yeah, like comparatively, especially for like a newer thing,
books for like $40.
Yeah, especially if you're like a newer game, you're trying to get new people into it over something like D&D, because like this is catering to the people that would want to play D&D. Like at this point, they're just gonna keep playing D&D. This isn't like it's easier, it's more accessible, it's digital. This is
just like us.
Yeah,
I'm real. I'm not an AI. I'm not simulated. Like I'm an actual human being. I'm here.
I will tell you, I don't even have the standard rule book because I pre-ordered from somewhere else, so I didn't have to just get the deluxe, because that's the only one that's on the Square Enix site. Like the regular is on there every once in a while, but it's not listed. Like it's just not listed.
That's wacky.
So I bought it from another place that I buy a bunch of D&D stuff from. And it's like, it's still an open pre-order. Like it came out a while ago. Did they just not
weird
get that? I'm not entirely sure. Like I haven't
the standard rulebook?
Yeah, the standard rulebook, just the book, because I was not going to pay for the collector's edition. I don't know.
Huh.
No idea. I'm like, I'll check in on that. But yeah, like I'm looking right now on the website, and
it's
the only standard rulebook I see.
It's only in the collector's edition. That's not cool either.
No, that is very not cool. I'm like, wait.
They just have a bunch of those deluxe editions just sitting in a warehouse because nobody's buying them.
Yeah. And the standard rulebook was on this website before, and then it disappeared. So I don't know.
So they have sales. Just watch for the sales if you want the deluxe one.
Keep an eye out. Obviously,
don't be
like
in a hurry.
We have voiced our thoughts on it. If it's still something you want, go buy
Yeah,
it.
don't
Please,
listen to us.
spend your money however you want.
Go.
If you got
Support
money just pouring out your butt, do whatever you want with it.
Clean it
Go for it.
and then spend it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
is-
exactly.
So that is that. There's also some other new merch that is up for pre-order. We talked a little bit about this last episode. They showed some of this during the live letter. So we have like the Mahjong keychains, the Moogle and Chocobo onesies. I have a new minion magnet set that's got our Lord and Savior, the Corn Servant there. So make sure to check all of that out if any of that is
Funny.
of interest to you. So there you go.
I wonder if they've just figured out by now that if they add like a weird, quirky little guy in, people will be like, "I love it."
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see what else has happened. PvP Crystal and Conflict North America Cup quarterfinals and onwards are going to have their matches showcased live on April 18th. So if that's something you're into, make sure to tune in for that.
That was actually something that surprised me about the last Fan Fest, was watching the PvP matches. It was actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm normally a person who does not watch streamers or watch sports. I want to do the thing myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me and my wife have this running joke that I just fall asleep anytime football's on the TV because like I don't care. Like I can get into it, but like generally like like whatever. Like it's fine.
It's like
I
the
will
least
say that-
exciting of all the sports.
Yeah.
I like football, and it's the least exciting.
I was excited because I had a friend that I went to high school. Well, an acquaintance I went to high school with actually played on Seattle the year they went to the Super Bowl. And so I was like super into it that year. And of course, then they lost and they're not on the team anymore. And whatever. Like I'm like, football's fine. I also grew up in Chicago. We all know how the Bears have been doing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I do know, and I enjoy it.
Barely making it by.
Things happened last season.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into it.
Yeah.
If
That's not this podcast.
yeah, no, completely different topic. It might also be like the only time we've talked about football, I think, on here. I don't think we've
Maybe
ever
the only time we went.
first
Football?
we did it. If you would like your ears to be happy with some immersive game pack audio,
Right.
they're having a sale right now, running until April 13th. And reminder that you can also get a 30-day free trial to check it out before you buy it. So if that's something you're interested in, check that out. At one point, Rook had a code that you could like put in. It was like
right.
Rookery or Bird of Chess. I don't know how old it was. But if you're planning to pick it up, pop in one of her streams, see if she still has that, or just type it in one of those and see if it goes through.
At 2 points, I did a review.
Yeah, that was you had the worst luck getting that thing to work. It worked fine for me. I forget to reinstall it and turn it on is my problem. But it is nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to take us into patch 7.2 initial hands-on impressions. What are we feeling?
Solid 3.2.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
not true.
You
My
mean
actual
patch
score is
3.2?
no. My actual score I think is a little bit higher. How do I do math?
I like we'll go through each of the bits, but better than 7.1.
yes.
And to me, probably better than most of the 6.x. Most of it.
Yeah.
Definitely better
maybe
than
all of
7.0.
I came away
7.1,
from this a lot happier than I thought I might be. So good.
That's good.
It was interesting. It didn't feel like a weird, filler. Like I'm like genuinely interested to see like what happens next. It's the new villain. I wasn't thinking they'd have like a dude with like a drawing tablet pen be the next bad guy. But here we are.
But you never
I'm
know.
actually really unimpressed with this
It's
He's gonna have to do something cool. Right now, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, 14-year-old mad scientist boy.
yeah, it's weird, right? Because there's the way that this ends where he's like, oh, we have to ask a new question now or something. And it's like, well, he doesn't talk anything like that because he's like a sickly, like, gothy
Dispassionate,
kid.
yeah.
He's like, now he must ask a new question. And I'm like, which is? And it just cuts right there. I'm like, you could have really just one more line right there, Square. Just sell me a little bit more at the end.
I like what he could be, right? Like what I think he might be. And we'll get into it once we warn everyone for spoilers, right? We're just talking about general right now. But yeah, much more interesting than 7.1 is my first review for sure.
Yeah.
I liked where we're going.
Yeah, I like the idea that while this new scene is present, very much like co-pilot seat, right? Whereas, coming into this originally, we're like, oh gosh, here it is. We killed the villain. The villain's back. This is, everybody's been joking Stormblood 2.0. Here's Xenos 2.0 again. Not as much. A little bit to start, but then kind of like, okay, now you go here, and now we focus on this guy. This new guy was kind of like giving me Double 11 character vibes.
Oh yeah.
He was giving me a little bit of Celsius vibes and a little bit of like Eldrinarsh, where he would like pop up with his little glowing things, just kind of float.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, to me it feels very just from what I remember of it, just Spooky Kid from Prometheus.
Yeah,
I don't know the name. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yep.
That's that exactly.
The enigmatic figure boy. Yeah. I forget what they called him originally, but yeah. Which is fine. Which is funny because I think wasn't Sphene started off as the enigmatic maiden or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's a common word. I put too much emphasis on that when they first announced that.
I need them to give me more story, because right now I'm like, where did this dumb boy come from? Yes, I think we're told about the organization that he was part of, but like, not him specifically, unless somebody can point that out to me, which would actually make me like him more. So if anybody noticed that when I didn't, send that to me. Let me know. Tell me things.
Yeah, I mean, let's really get into it. So if you haven't played it, I don't know why you're here.
Go play it. Go play it right now. Come
light
back.
On spoilers. Light.
Well, we can.
Yeah,
we're doing it differently. It's been 2 weeks. Whatever. If we want to talk about it, we can talk about it. I think. I think that's
I'm just
fine.
trying to say what you said.
we can get into it. I think it's fine. And we're saying it verbally out loud. People tuning in
like,
won't be like,
where
"Oh
you
no!"
Get concerned because there's spoilers. Maybe we put it in the title.
Sure,
we can go back and do that. Yeah, do it in post.
So, I don't love the character, but I love all the implications.
Sure,
because how does he know?
I can get on board with that.
How does he know which reflection he's from?
Yeah.
How did he get the number right?
Yep.
You didn't think you were the only one that knew anything about anything, did you?
And it's like, where did he learn that from? Well, there's one place, probably.
We know where he learned it from.
Right? To me, he is Unokolhai, but for the 9th. Like, I really want him to be like a warrior of light who tried to fix things and it fucking failed. And so he decided to do this.
That would be interesting.
Sure.
It would be great. Because he's not an Ascian. Certainly not. He's an endless.
Yeah.
Right? So that's really fertile territory, right? And also, it's so 9. It is so incredibly 9. Like this guy is going to summon Necron, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't know about 9, literally Necron is basically the primal of the fear of death. That's all you need to know.
Yeah,
it's happening.
I'm a little bit like, he's like Zero again ish.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't have emotions, and I came up with a solution for my one problem, and I can't tell that it's perhaps not the best solution because I don't have emotions. And to be fair, we do need representation for people who have that neuro set in video games and media, but also we just had one.
Yeah, we did. I don't know. Like he's hidden like Fandaniel. Not in that way, but because of Amon, right? That scientist, I learned too much about the world and I have the idea. Now, there's a different idea instead of killing everything.
Yeah.
Forcing us all to become immortal. Well, not us all, but his people at least. I don't know. I think there's a lot of fertile ground, and I swear we're fighting Necron. There's no way we're not.
Well, what if it's not Necron, but a robot made of everybody's memories of Necron?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could zag, but I mean, we got Beatrix bot when we knew we were getting her.
Yeah.
We're going on a 9 journey. I mean, Sphene and her whole I'm a queen / princess, but I might join you because I can do magic.
Yeah, I think this main character Calix is his name, right?
Yep, Calix.
Me and my wife were playing the MSQ together, and I was like, he has an X in his name. That means he's part of Organization 13.
Oh God, I quit. I'm done with this game.
But yeah, with the Necron mention, I could see him totally turning into Necron. Like his plan doesn't go how it does. He does the villain thing. Blah blah blah. Turns into Necron. There we go.
Yeah.
Real Sphene was interesting this patch. I actually liked her a lot more than I thought I would. And I could almost see her becoming a Scion.
Yeah.
At this point, like it's been a minute, but like I got a book. I know some magic, and so she'll come fill the void that Alphino left when he went Sage.
Yeah.
She'll just be like, I got a carbuncle, yay!
She just starts her own Scions in the night.
There you go. Maybe. Yeah.
I hope she's a summoner, and I hope she can summon Alexander.
I mean,
it won't be true.
Oh, that'd be good.
So.
Oh,
right, because
so
she is just Dagger. She's just Dagger / Aiko.
Could you imagine we get her as a trust in one of these patches, and she comes in and she just has like an Alexander Eggy, and all the summoners cumulatively just go, son of a bitch, like man, like come on, Square.
Yeah. You said Calix, and okay, I always do this. Calix.
He's a rock.
Word.
Yep.
Nope.
No?
He is the usually green leaf-like structures that protect the flower bud before it blooms. We're talking about flowers now.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and I'm like, oh, interesting. That protects the flower before it buds. Yeah, I see what you're doing.
Butterfly.
Right? Like, he is here to guide us. He's here to protect us into the next evolution. I get it. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. When he said, it's time for a new question, of course, right? You go, all right. Yeah, the 10-year story is over. We answered that question. Forge on, forge ahead, right? What is the new question for the next 10 years? Right?
Why is the sky blue?
That's what I took it. It might be that. I mean, it's definitely not blue. Well, yeah, it's definitely a blue in there, but yeah, I'm very interested to see what they pose the question as, right? If this is really like really posing a new question for the next 10 years, or maybe I could be taking that wrong, but question and answer in 14, you can't say that without meaning multiple things, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, there's a million things they could do to it. I think the part that was really interesting to me is how he reacted to when we pulled out our Asm Stone.
Yeah.
Obviously we know that there's some kind of connection between that and the key that they're after, right? So maybe he just recognized that or something and was like, the that's the thing. I have no idea. But we've also had Yoshida more recently be like, yeah, man, I don't know, there could be a multiverse thing going on. Who knows what they're gonna do at this point, man. We could have interdimensional fusion bubbles, just we'll just cataclysm it, right? All of a sudden Phanolin has a little bit of the fifth or something in it, and just all over the place. Just
if nothing else, the key has the Asm symbol on it too, so it could be that he recognized the symbol and was like, but could also be. I imagine they'd probably have a little bit of the same power ?
Maybe.
Yeah, I would think so.
The one, what is it? The Traveler?
Same energy readings or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I
or
mean,
maybe his totally
favorite-
not Asian
Mhm.
contact told him about that too.
Yeah. My favorite
Yeah.
line he says is in the dungeon.
yeah,
It's like, it'd be really convenient for me if you could die now or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So like monotone about it too. He's just like, yeah, like if you want to, if you could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I don't know why he said there it is, right? Other than he's seen the hourglass or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and it really feels like the same energy because we are the shepherd to the stars. We could bring people together, which means we probably can bring souls from other places, which is how that works. But can we
Mhm.
bring whole other shards into place? That's what it seemed like to me,
Yeah.
right? Like that's a tool to bring another shard to you.
Yeah.
Maybe, or you to another shard. And that'd be cool. I would love to know if, Azim, one of the reincarnations along the however many thousands of years it's been, had to make that, to use that to save the Lalafell or whatever, right? Because we know that that's how they got over to there.
Mhm.
And then it just fell into the wrong hands, maybe.
Yeah.
Be cool.
It's hard to say where this was, all this can go,
Mhm.
because right now we also have the Echoes of Vanadil raid where it's like, yeah, no, we can just like travel like across to this other planet too, like, and then of course with the way that Endwalker went, and now we have cosmic exploration, we can just planets, and who knows like where we're going.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, all the options that are laid out.
Mhm.
Let's see. So we had a little bit of that story.
Mhm.
What do you think of the trial?
It's fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I really
It's,
like the mechanics.
Yeah. When we were doing the EX version, Charles was like, yeah, when each of the little tiles touch each other, it's kind of like completing a circuit, and it makes sense because robots. And I was like,
Yep.
You're right.
I have not jumped into the EX or seen
Mhm.
footage of it yet. I've heard there are some color issues.
Yes, that is very true. If
Oh,
you
yeah?
if you are colorblind, that fight is not fun. Just because the rose pattern on the ground, plus the purple or blue on top, plus the orange from the slices that are happening, it just, it can combine to be a mess.
Mm.
And so, people have been looking for ways around that. And
Sure.
that's not okay. We
No.
don't need to push people to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard a bit about that, in that it's not very colorblind friendly. Even with changing your settings, there's no way,
Yeah.
because of the way that those are layered. Which, I don't suffer from it, so I'm not sure. It was hard to look at it until I understood what was happening.
Mm.
But I can still see the clear divides, and if you can't see that, then you're not going to have a good time.
It's rough. I mean, as you look at where the game has been in like battle
Mhm.
content versus where it is now, they're just throwing a bunch of stuff out, right? It's
Yes.
not necessarily that the bosses have more HP or that they hit harder. It's just there's just a lot of stuff on the
Yes.
screen. And this is also like the same developer that like we had Shiva. All right, you're in this big arena. It's made of ice. All the circles that you want to avoid are like white and blue, and it's just like even for the dungeon for me, the second boss where it's like the soldier, there's this move
Sure.
where she kind of like goes around to all these different points that are laid out, but like the lines that connect them are kind of like transparent-y and red, and the ground is red, and it's like not the easiest to see sometimes. And I
Sure.
just, how are we still doing this? Like you gotta have things be way more like stand out way more. Like the idea that things being hard to read is a part of the difficulty is bad game design to me. Like that's not how you want that.
I don't think that they intended that. Such devastation was not their intention.
Yeah.
But I think that is a side effect, and maybe we'll talk about it more when we get to the raid or something, because the trial is just one fight, right? And there's some unfortunate color choices, but you're right, Fusion thing. There's just a lot more, and there's a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing their encounter design changes. Like right now, we're seeing them. You can't dispute that. If you go into the raid, you cannot dispute that.
Yeah.
It's much faster than it has been for a normal. And I don't know. It's going to bounce some people, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I like that.
I get. Go ahead.
I still talking on the trial. I went in and I one-shotted it with a group of entire strangers except for one friend. I did feel not exactly frantic, but I was moving the whole time for sure.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And there is going to be I don't want to say level, but a level of player who's not used to that and not good at that.
Yeah.
And they're gonna struggle with that trial.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, though, I didn't find it hard at all. Like, all you have to do is keep moving.
Yeah. And that's really it, right? I'll just talk about it now. I have said the whole time that I don't think encounter design is the place to really put that much difficulty. You know, they're like, well, our encounter design is going to change, so we have to change all the jobs. That's cool, but all the old stuff does not prepare you for this.
Yeah.
All the old stuff is not with that design. So like, I don't think it prepares you for that. Like it's a level of difficulty.
I think it
Can we also
does.
agree that the last like swath of stuff has been easier? It doesn't prepare you for this stuff because it's been too easy.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
Well,
and then all of a sudden they're changing encounter design.
I also I'm sorry to interrupt in the middle of your thought,
it's all
but
good.
like I just throwing back to like Stormblood, maybe not the best story, but definitely feels like the best place in time for job balance versus encounter balance. And I feel like they are this is to add on to what you're saying. They're trying to regain that balance enjoyment by increasing the encounter difficulty while they're taking away from jobs, and I definitely think that's the wrong direction.
Yeah, because to me, there's a couple things that I don't like to say, but all right, so people are like, jobs are too hard. For what?
What?
Well, what do you? Okay, so it's hard to do the max DPS. You don't have to though.
Yeah.
If you're not doing the hard stuff. So I don't know why you remove the job difficulty, because it doesn't matter. Do the best you can. If the encounter is not fast and furious, you can do the best you can and win. If the encounter is fast and furious, but your job's easy, those people who aren't very, into playing the job anyway are still not going to do great. And then they're going to die on the mechanics. I think that more difficulty in jobs is fine on the high end, and keeping encounter kind of where it is, and the difficulty is optimizing. I think that that's better than forcing everyone to level up because everybody has to deal with the encounter, because the job, who cares? Someone may carry the DPS. It's a normal trial. But if everyone's dying, no one can carry it,
Yeah.
That's just the way that I feel. And I think that this trial, and I agree with you, it's not that hard. It is fast, and if you memorize it, like all 14 fights, you're gonna get it. It's just the execution. But then you get into the raid, and like the third one, oh, it's dire sometimes.
Third was
it's
rough.
So dire.
Yeah, third was the
It's so
roughest
dire.
one, I think, for me this time around.
It's
Yeah.
You know what's crazy too is this definitely does not in the end probably make a difference, but I feel like if you could put markers down, you could have a better idea of where the hell you are during that last phase.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because any markers are gone.
I think for me, the issue here is that, even I'll say, like, I'm not like crazy high. I'm not like the top number deal in DPS out there, right? But I'm okay. But with the way that combat has changed, there are some times where even me, I need to just kind of stop my hotbar and what I'm doing. I'm like, what is happening on the screen right now? Like, it distracts me because I can't just, glance up and be okay, things are happening. I have to focus on what's happening versus the rotation. And I think a lot of the other kind of, maybe not an issue, but what doesn't help is the unknown, right? Because we, leading into Dawn Trail, we had Yoshida saying, I know some of you were expecting things to change because we told you to, but don't worry, because 8.0, everybody, everything, right?
Yeah.
And then they talk about, like encounters and how they want fights to change. But all they say is that they're going to change. They don't tell us. They haven't mapped out what their vision is, other than like
tell us.
We just I wonder if they're just kind of feeling it out as they go. I'm wondering if there is a grand plan right now, because
they did tell us it would be encounter based. We got that.
Yeah.
We knew that. And
it's true.
Yeah, I don't entirely. So I'm of two minds here. I don't think that the balance that they're working on currently is the right one. However, I do like have the experience that I've been having with the more challenging encounters. I like that. Yeah. I don't know if the place for it is in the casual content for people who are happy that jobs are becoming easier. But I don't know. I like going into a fight the very first morning and wiping 4 times, going, oh, this fight just kicked my booty butt. Amazing. And then the next, 2 or 3 times you go in there, you go, oh, that's how it works. Oh, okay. And then eventually it as humdrum as the rest of the fights. But having your butt kicked the first couple times is great.
I mean, I think that's fine. Like, you have to learn a fight. I mean, that's the way that 14's fight design is, right? It's all choreography based, essentially, when you boil it down, right? And I think that's fine, but I think it does feel a little bit like the encounter design and the job design are kind of fighting each other right now. And so, it's as somebody that used to do a lot of machinist, we haven't really seen a whole lot, and they're like, yeah, no, they're fine where they are for what we're doing. And it's like, but what are you doing? Like, it's rough. I mean, I will say I have mostly, even with the wipes, right, I have enjoyed the encounter design. But I will say, and I guess we'll just, we already mentioned the third fight for this raid, so we'll just kind of get into that a little bit.
Let's, can I really quick, let's not mention who it is.
Fair.
Sure.
Yeah.
That is the big spoiler
That's
for this
fair.
year, I feel.
What I will say though is, I think we're also seeing, we're talking about job design versus encounter design. Also, I think with this one is system design. I think camera is a huge issue here in this fight, because this thing boss, right, can move around on walls, and they do that with like a tether. You'll see, okay, the tether grapples to this and this, but if your camera's not high enough, if you haven't like adjusted the actual up and down of your camera, if you're not zoomed out, you may not see that. And that's a huge issue, especially, we don't need to talk about like, zoom out gate or whatever, with top, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're starting to see other issues, right? Especially with this fight. It's really quick, and you need to be looking at multiple things, not just the hot bar and kind of what's going on, but you need to take in the entire screen.
Don't look at your hot bar. Never look at your hot bar.
I always look at my hot bar. That's how I know I got to see when things are glowing and ready to be pushed, right? Some people have a better feel for it. Some people don't. That's just how the game is, right? But I think
some people put those buttons right in the middle of their view. Like, they'll make a secondary button to show it up there.
Exactly. And so I think that they're just not maybe necessarily in this particular fight, but I think in general things are going just fast enough that it can be irritating. Especially with some of these, like, oh, he's gonna move, but also you need to like stack up right where he's gonna move, and sometimes it feels like there's just not enough time, depending on where you are and how late you might see the tell, because again, right, camera, all the other things you're looking at. But yeah, I think
unless you'll have it memorized.
But and it's very scripted, especially like the initial start of this fight. So like once you do it a few times, you know exactly what's going to happen. But yeah, I think just in general, and obviously this is the raid, right? So it should be harder.
For sure.
But it'll be interesting to see where they find that balance of, okay, how fast is too fast for some of this. Like, it's great, like having played this game, 1.0 alpha, to see how like quick and snappy it is now. Like that's really cool. But I feel like it's, you know, I feel like Yoshida came back from 16 development and was like, how do we speed this up a little bit?
That is a thing I've heard people talk about. They're like they're changing things up. I don't necessarily agree with this, but I've heard some people say they're changing things up to make it more action adventure RPG.
Yeah, and I think I've said that even too. And it's not something I'm crazy about. I mean, again, like you also, you know, when I say that, you also have to consider my background, right? I used to play 11, which was like the slowest MMO known to man. But I do miss that. Like the further we get into, you know, 14's lifespan, as they, you know, develop whatever this new vision is for content. I miss the really slow, steady paced 11 fights where it wasn't choreography based. It was just kind of throwing stuff at a monster and eventually it dies and horizontal progression. And like, I was good. I miss that. Like the deeper I get into 14 right now, it just feels like chaotic and the way that they're doing this design is just like, okay, well, how do we make it harder? We just make more things. We just make it faster and have people have to dodge more things. And it just, it's one of those things like it's part of the design, but it almost feels like artificial difficulty is not quite the right word, but like you might be able to kind of feel out like where I'm going with that. It just, it doesn't feel great. Like it feels like they're just like, well, we'll just throw this on and sure, that's combat design now.
You guys know, again, from years of listening to my opinions about junk, I love the dance. I love the step here, step here, step here. You don't even know exactly why you did it, but as long as you went to these places based on the things that you took in from the indicators the boss did, you're in the right place. You didn't die. Keep doing the DPS. I love that. So like the fact that there's so much of that right now, I'm like, let's go.
As a caster player from 2.0, it has literally destroyed the identity of casters. It has forced them to break Black Mage. No, I think that it's good. I just think that they could have found a different way. To me, the encounter design being fast, that's fine. Black Mages, the good ones, I'm not one of them yet, would have been able to deal with this, I think. They changed it because they know that it's a pain in the ass to try and get casting in these things. It is, and that's part of the mastery. I am enjoying playing Black Mage through the Savage. It's my first time playing Black Mage. I wanted to try it out, right? But to go and say, and this is what they said in the job guide, and the only thing we get from communication about jobs from them is the job guide. Even in the patch notes reading, I went and translated it myself to see, hey, did they say anything else? No, they just move on because they don't want to talk about it anymore. They do not talk about job design to us anymore. That's the communication that I want. I want to know your ideas of why this is and what you may think it's going to be, right? That's what I want. Encounter design, I am enjoying it. I really am. And even trying to figure out Black Mage in it is fun. Even if it was the previous Black Mage, it would have been fun, right? But it forces you to change casters in a way that I don't agree with. Like Summoner, you have like 1-2 casts that you really, really have to worry about. Black Mage, you're real fast now, and even faster if you go into spell speed, but you have to slide cast everywhere, and that's kind of fun. You know, Pictomancer got hit with the nerf hammer. Rip hammer, by the way, because it's literally
it's a
number
DPS
wise
loss now, I think, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because as I said before, if you think they're going to change Pictomancer in the best way, I have a bridge to sell you. They tried. They did basically what we all thought, all the theory crafting community thought that they should do: remove damage from the motifs, because you can cast those in downtime and get them for free. Put it into the main combo. They did that. But in removing the damage from the hammer, they made it literally less useful than your normal movement. Totally, right? That kind of sucks. It moves things around. There's a button that you shouldn't press every 1 minute when it's up. That sucks. So hopefully they'll fix that, right? That was just numbers. But caster in general, I don't know. Like red mages right now are like, yeah, this is great. I'm the only caster that hasn't had changes like that. So that's cool. I mean, I do get to move every other cast, but that first one is tough sometimes, right? Because they don't have any reduction. And I don't want you to have to feel like you need that. Yeah. And I'm not saying the best Red Mages players say that. So I'm not saying the whole community does. But there's a lot of that. And I think that I don't know where you go. I don't know where the end of this is, because it is too fast for people who were just vibing through the MSQ. It's too fast now.
And you know, I think the other issue I would say, right, obviously when you're making an online game, your connection to the server is going to play a huge part in what you're doing. I mean, and the fact that you're talking about slide casting so much, it's not you versus the encounter, it's you versus your ping. And that's maybe not how it should be. So
They're also improving the ping things little by little over time.
Well, and we've seen that with the encounter design too. Things have been able to be that little, we saw it with, I think starting with like Barbarisha is where we first were really like, wow, this fight's fast. And I think that, and again, doubling back on what you said, Aldino, they need to communicate more about what their vision is for the jobs. 1,000%. I remember back in the day, they used to tell us in live letters, like what they were going to do, and they might even talk about it. And now they're like, we're not going to announce it until like the patch notes, because people are going to complain. Well, here's the thing though. You want to know a secret?
They're worse when you
don't know a secret. People are going to do it anyway. People are going to do it anyway. I mean, you could have the best expansion in the world for something like Endwalker, and there's still going to be people that don't like it. I'm pointing at me for the audio people. I'm pointing at me. I didn't like Endwalker, but you could talk about jobs in a live letter. You could talk about them in patch notes reading. You could anywhere, preferably like somewhere where the international audience could, participate. And people are still going to be unhappy. That's how it is. Don't worry about that.
We
talked to us about
found out about these changes. Go ahead.
I don't fault them for not talking about it. I feel like people are too in their own shit about it. Like, hold on a second. Even on here, some of us are guilty of this is going to be terrible. This is going to be bad. Sure. And we get the thing and it's fine.
That's true, but you can't be afraid of your own community. They didn't used to be. Yeah. Right. It was only the mistakes that they made.
Yeah. What happened to that
made people mad?
Incredible level of transparency. I mean, the entire basis of why they started live letters was to be transparent with the players. And now, I can't even tell you the last time Yoshida's taken a question about hats. I can't tell you the last time he's explained. And I just talked about this. We're going to change battle. We're going to do this stuff. But what are you actually doing? What is your plan? We don't know. And they won't tell us. And that, especially when you get, all this discussion we've had about fights and how maybe the job design is that, is fighting against the combat design and the way that casters are right now. And they're doing these changes, but they're not telling us why and what they're intending. And it's just like
machinists existing.
Just talk to us, Square.
Yeah. And I do get it, because they got death threats for removing chitin. And that was just job flavor.
Ridiculous.
Right? It is ridiculous, but that's the state of the entire internet, right?
Yeah.
That's people are getting death threats for coloring something green. But one of the reasons that Black Mage players who really liked the job were so mad is because nobody told them this was happening. We're watching a live letter, and you see Yoshi P play Black Mage, and you're like, that's not Black Mage. That's weird. I wonder if they're going to change that, or if this is just a test. Don't say anything.
Not a word.
Don't get it in the patch notes. And then it just happens.
Yeah.
That sucks. That is like a fundamental change to the job that you've been playing for however long that you identify with. That's going to Bow Mage from Bard, right? Without them telling you.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does suck. I'm not.
They told us.
So I feel like we moved from the broader point to a very specific point.
Well, no, I just mean about jobs in general. They're going to change all the jobs in that way. They have, right? They changed Summoner in that way, and they didn't talk to us about it. We saw it at the media tour, and we went, ooh, this is going to be weird. And then they did the big expansion thing. That's the only time that they talk about jobs anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's enough.
Square.
I just don't think that's enough.
I mean, okay, so I agree with you, but I also... I think that the community deserves this. Don't be
Sure.
assholes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, then they deserve us not playing.
Hashtag best community.
Like that's
Fair enough.
because, like,
And
literally,
that's also I'm of two minds there also. Like that's an asshole thing for me to say. Some people in the community deserve this, and it's admittedly the loud bitchy minority. Let's go with that
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't deserve that. However, I can't fault them for it. I personally can't. Does it suck? Absolutely, yes.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're shying away from it, and you cannot. You make the video game. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, WoW.
They've been doing it for so long. Like,
I mean,
where
WoW's
are
been
the
getting
people on
death
the-
threats for 10, 15 years, and they still do it. You know what I mean? Like, they still have the communication, even when people are meaner to them than they've ever been to 14. Let's get that straight first and foremost.
Yeah.
But they also have a team member for almost every spec, or at least every class, talking about it before the changes happen. They have a public test realm where people can see it. So their temperature has gone way down over the years because they go, here's our ideas. This is what we're doing. You can have feedback, but we're not just going to change it. This is our idea. This is what we're going to do. What do you think about that? And then they take that feedback and they do change things, but they don't change the big picture idea. You can do that. I don't know why we stopped, other than, okay. So there was a lot of death threats. And I get that. I understand. That sucks. I work for a video game company that gets death threats literally all the damn time. Twice. The last two companies I was at.
I don't understand people.
Yeah.
It's a video game. Go read a book.
You can't understand
Find their
people,
accounts,
but you
ban them,
have to
and
do your
move
job.
on. Yeah. I think
you have to do your job.
what I would
And to me, your job is to tell us what's changing.
Yeah.
This is an MMO. This is a great community, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a conversation. If there's not a conversation, then what use is there in having like any community like outreach, right? So you're not going to communicate about the jobs, right? Just not at all. Okay, great. Then there's no conversation at all. That's not how MMOs work. And Yoshi P knows this.
Yeah, it's not fair.
He came in to save it.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not fair or balanced.
It isn't.
But I have to remember that me personally, nobody else has to have this opinion. I have to remember that those are real people behind there, and they have to protect themselves a little bit somehow.
Yeah.
That's true. That is very true. And the way, and I'm not saying that, words on the internet can hurt. People say that they don't.
Oh, yeah.
They do. Don't lie.
They absolutely
Do not
don't.
lie. Like, you can pretend that, but they can get you. But the thing is, even just a little bit, just in an interview somewhere, just any of those things that he used to give us, all of that's gone. And you could say, okay, so he's punishing us. Well, who is us? I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like,
I think a lot of that is poor Yoshi P is jaded now too.
Yeah, so
Could
get
be.
someone else. I'm not seriously saying that, but this is an MMO. When you made 1.0, you made it without looking at other MMOs, which was a
That's
bad
not
idea. And
true.
you suffered
They
from
looked at an MMO. It was Final Fantasy 11.
Oh my
right?
God.
You did that, right? And then you brought in the person who played MMOs, who understood players, to come and work on it. And then over time, he started turning into the monolith that we did not like in the first place. Don't do that. Find another way. All I'm saying, like, you don't even have to really talk about it. Just make the job guides longer. That's it. One statement that is longer than one sentence would be cool. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, the thing about Black Mage this time was, this is to match future encounter design. And so you look at it and go, okay, so which part? The not timer is the faster. Okay, so I guess all of it. So I guess encounters are going to be faster. All right. Well, what's going to happen after that, right? I guess encounters are just going to be faster forever. That's never going to change back. Well, what about 8.0? When you say identity about jobs, well, how are you going to change it then? It still has to fit this.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, right? So it's just that communication, right? Like, once again, they don't have to say it live where there's an audience booing them in Twitch. You have a job guide, just make it useful, right? I don't know. I really think that this is self-inflicted, and it could have been better, which is better communication. Yeah, people would still be mad, but at least we would know. Okay, so this is the idea.
Turn off the chat. Just turn off the chat.
Yeah, just turn off the chat.
I think, and I've talked about this a little before. And I think, coming off of this, in the broadest sense imaginable,
yeah,
I think Square Enix has gotten worse with communicating. Whether it's live letter, whether it's job design intent, whether it's relaying information from your Korean and Chinese fan fest to the rest of the world. They used to have community members during live letters in the forums posting stuff. They stopped doing that. They somehow got worse at covering their own information. They have declined.
Why do you think that happens?
They have declined in the way that they communicate. And the whole part of like when Yoshida came in, he's like, transparency, we're gonna do live letters, we're gonna just get out there, we're gonna do player polls, we're going to talk to our players, we're gonna tell them what we're doing. And that has gotten worse over the last few years. And I get it, right, to an extent. Obviously people on the internet are dicks, obviously, like even I've said some not nice things. But that's the business, right? You're not going to make everybody happy. I mean, death threats are inexcusable. Find those players, ban them for life. Fuck them. Just straight up, like, don't pay them any mind.
Just for clarity's sake, he said inexcusable.
Yeah.
Your mic cut out a little.
Oh no, microphone, no. No. Inexcusable. Do not do the death threats. That's bad. That's
Calm
very
down.
very not good.
Eat a popsicle.
But it's like it is the same as the people who use the forbidden tools to make their character look exactly the way that they want. It's not okay. It's not allowed. But then they love that character. The same thing can happen to jobs and systems.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're going to change the look of a Lalafel's cheeks and go, hey, guys, this is really important. If you're going to change the way Black Mage works, maybe you could make one extra
our
slide.
20-minute on-stage presentation about the changes they're making to Black Mage, right?
They knew that people were going to be mad about that. They knew it, so they said something about it. Did they not know that Black Mages would be mad, or did they just not want to deal with it?
Yeah.
I would say that more people got mad about the graphics update than Black Mage being changed. So like like I could believe that they don't want it because of death threats. And I do believe that because they are horrible. But then you talk about Lalafell cheeks to make sure that that smooths over. Then you don't say anything about Black Mage. It's just weird. It's like they are trying not to talk about the systems anymore at all.
Yeah. It makes me wonder where their focus is and like what their marketing or PR approach is. If like you have one group telling Yoshida don't talk about this or something, like I don't know. I have no idea. But the point I was getting to earlier too, communication has declined. I do have to wonder a little bit too. Obviously Yoshida has gone on record saying 14 is like my life's work, I'll do it forever. But it's been over 10 years. Like stuff does get tiring and exhausting, and you do need to mix it up. Like obviously he did 16, but also in addition to working on 14, which maybe he's still working on 14, to be loud and clear. Like this is still his game, but maybe he's just like in a spot where he's like, yeah, man, I'm just, a little something new might be nice. Or I just came off of this other game. Oh, I'm back doing this again. But he's also managing a bunch of other projects too. I mean, that's the other like conspiracy theory wall post, right? Sure. Maybe his direction is just pulled in too many different directions now. But I think, more communication. I don't think it could ever be a bad thing. I mean, and look at 1.0, look where that was. And he came in and said, we should talk to our players more. And look what that did. I mean, there's a reason that, he got this like rock star status, right?
Yeah. Why he was
we don't have
the goal.
Yeah.
For like
and
Lost
it wasn't
Ark.
the hair and the rings.
Yeah.
But they
like
didn't.
Lost Ark. Other people have started to do live letters because they're like, hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, it's lost a little bit, I think, of that. I think Square Enix needs to get back on to getting that information out quicker. Like they'll do like community recaps or whatever, but it's like a week plus after the live letter. That's too long. That's too long for information you know they're going to talk about, because you have all this information internally weeks ahead of time. You need to be quicker about doing that. And you just need to talk to us more, because, you know, Black Mage, right, is a really great example of it. You know, also like you know, anytime you look on a social post for 14 now, it's all bad, and there's always at least like 10 people asking about hats. Address the freaking hats. Come out, have just like a 10-minute
so
speech.
tired of hats.
Here's the deal about hats. And they haven't, because they probably don't have a solution. For some reason, this was a decision that they made that they would do, right? And they need to own it. This is also the same company that when they do, oh, it's the anniversary, blah, 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 we also don't acknowledge that 1.0 existed. Be proud of your history. Don't be ashamed of it. We know it happened.
That is apples and oranges.
I think it's part of this. I think it's part of the same farm. It's part of the same farm.
I think that they have also had things where they do acknowledge 1.0, like even at
rarely,
the media tour. Even at the
rarely.
media tour, and granted, it's media tour, so it's a limited audience.
No one's gonna
He's
hear it.
like, hey, who played 1.0? Like he talks about it.
He said that because he knew you were there.
Yeah, it was me and one other person.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. I think they need to. There's this weird like unwillingness to want to talk about certain things, and I think they need to just like, we get it. We talked about the reason why maybe they are hesitant to, and I get that, and it sucks, but that is the reality. If you don't want to deal with that, don't run a globally operated MMO. Like you have to, like, I don't want to say just like suck it up, right? But you need to, they need to get better. They need to find a way back to where they
find
were.
a strategy.
Yeah.
Find the strategy that can work. And, you know, it's tough in this environment because it's flying everywhere. Like, man, Path of Exile 2, which is not an MMO, like just had a big patch and people are like, I hate this the most.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's pretty strong. And you see the unhinged people and you're like, yeah, it's everywhere. We
are in a world where hate sells. It feeds the algorithm. That's what the algorithm is looking for. Why things are bad. The so and so did what? You'll never believe what they did.
I'm gonna be an asshole. Yes, a world, but more so a country for the three of us where hate sells.
Well, there's two at least, because there's
wrong.
A country with farms that are making it worse. So
yeah, it's just
turning up the temperature.
Kind of in general, right? There's just a lot of bad right now.
Can we agree that not all, certainly not all, but a lot of the super negative, unwarranted feedback comes from North America?
Probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of us, but JP Black Mages went real deep. Let me tell you, some of those things that I saw, I was like, oh, that's a death threat from Japanese players. Oh no. Like Fire Yoshi P level stuff. Like it's all about community management, and I just don't think that they have given their community managers the tools to deal with this sort of thing, so they just go, do not talk at all.
Can I throw back for a second to what Fusion was saying about the community team posting less on the forums? Like what you said just now, do you think it's the overarching company that's just not giving them the tools, or do you think it's something else?
I mean, you know, I'll also address this as somebody that used to wake up for live letters, right? It's a pain in the ass. Right? First and foremost, the human element. Do I want to wake up at 3 a.m? No. But also, like, that could be their job and expected of them. They have people in Japan that know English that could do the same thing. They have,
and I mean, there's a reason that there's a recording. They could take a recording.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I mean they have these slides ahead of time. They know what's going to be discussed. They could prep stuff. They could have somebody in Japan push a publish button on a post.
Sure.
You know, the same thing. Like, why don't we have all live letters transcribed in English, right? And I said this on social media this week. For me, right, and this is 10 plus, 18 years of covering Final Fantasy MMOs at this point, right? We have a new PS2 limitations for Final Fantasy 14. It's $1 billion company.
Yeah.
Square Enix is worth billions of dollars, but they can't do good English coverage of things happening in Japan at the same time. They can't communicate well. They can't do a post that says, hey, here's what we talked about at the Chinese Fan Fest. There's things that just aren't happening, and I don't know why. Whether it's the company from top down is like, okay, here's what we want to do, whether it's just the human element just not having enough time or tools to do it. I mean, we've talked about before, especially with Dawn Trail, how it feels like, there's some pretty like obvious bugs getting through, some very obvious things happening with like maps and textures. And it feels like, maybe whatever business unit 3 is doing right now, they're at capacity and they just do not have as many resources as they need to do the job that they want to be able to do at the quality and level that they want to be able to do them.
So here's my question. We absolutely know there's at least 1 or 2 people who do get up for the live letters. Community people.
Yeah.
Are like outside of the company, community people get up for those live letters, translate them, organize the pictures. It's great. Do you think that Square Enix is leaning on them too hard? They have in the past plucked one of those precious babies out from our grasp to work for them.
Yeah, and I don't want to name names because I don't want to like put a target on anybody, right?
Yeah,
but there was somebody that they would do live translations of the live letter, which was awesome. And then they were hired by Square Enix, and then I don't have the timeline, so I don't know. But what I can say definitively is they did not hire them for that skill, because they didn't do live translations of the live letters. I might have been shortly after that where they stopped doing the regular forum post, like topic by topic updates. Yeah. So they hired person that did live translations and then got worse covering their own live letters. I don't know what the deal, and maybe it is. Maybe that's part of this whole thing. They're relying on news coverage to do their jobs for them, which is it's maybe, but it's also at the same time it's just why are you struggling so much to cover to give us news about your own game?
I'm actually shocked that the words I'm about to say didn't come out of your mouth, Fusion.
Oh damn.
So if they're relying on news outlets to be their voice in certain places in the community, why are we not getting interviews anymore?
That's the thing too. There are no interviews. Nobody's getting them.
Here's what I will say: there have been interviews.
Yes.
Well, for like
so our last full interview with Yoshida, and I'm full transparency. Our last full interview with Yoshida was for the Endwalker Media Tour.
Yeah. Since
then, I have not reached out to ask about an interview. A lot of that is my own experiences with the game. Right? If you've been listening this far, I could care less about the game during 6.x. I didn't care. And subsequently now, like, if I were to contact Square Enix about an interview, right, I would send them questions, and my questions would be, hats. Can you give us an actual answer for this glamour question about job restrictions that we've asked you at least 2 times now, and you still give us the same invalid answer? Where's this thing that they're adding to mobile? Why aren't you having that in the main game? Like, there's all these questions I would love to ask. Why were Endwalker relic weapons looking like they came from Solution 9? Why did we get Solution 9 glamour from PvP before Dawn Trail? It's all these questions that I would love to ask. But if you're somebody working for PR or you're Yoshida and you're seeing all these, I'm looking like a pretty angry person. Right?
I feel like a lot of those things can be phrased
they can be phrased better, right?
Sure.
But also,
maybe after this show we should just put together a list of questions and just send them on in.
You could.
Unsolicited.
Yeah. Yes, if you could just, whenever you get time.
Hello.
But yeah.
Hi, hello, it's me.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is the same. This very similar to what I tell people in the game all the time. Why are you getting mad at the person in the party with you for not doing the thing that you didn't want, that you didn't ask for?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? We assume that they hear all the things that we do, right? We assume that. Like, I see a lot in the community, right? Like, I'm on the Reddits, I'm on the Discords, right? And I see how people are feeling. And I go, well, obviously they see that too, but maybe it's not so obvious anymore.
Well,
right?
and I think, right, there are different teams, right? There's marketing teams, there's PR, there's community. Any of them could look at a Facebook post and see the comments, right? But I also think too, and this is like a deep psychological thing too. I think for me, and maybe for Square Enix too, certainly for some developers in the industry, I think the pandemic messed a lot of stuff up.
Sure.
It used to be where that was our interview with Yoshida. We'd meet up at E3 every year. We and then maybe sometimes we'd get the last slot and we'd just shoot the shit a little bit. It was great. It was wonderful. We had a great time just kind of hanging out for a little bit at the end of the show before they tried to kick us out of the hall. And we don't have that anymore. We don't have these events.
Yeah.
We have PAX, right? And I got to talk to Odagiri-san this past PAX West, which is great. Great guy. Used to play 11. Talked about farming his red mage Chapeau and Dynamis. But Yoshida's also been busy.
Yeah,
he hasn't been traveling as much, right? Even with they did I think it was PAX Australia where Ishikawa did a panel talking about some stuff. And I think days before that, Yoshida was in Australia doing a talk at another thing. But literally the same time that Australia panel was happening, there was a fan fest happening in Korea.
Yeah.
Literally the same time. It's like, well, I can watch Ishikawa talk about swimsuit costumes, or I can watch the Korean fan fest keynote. Yeah. That's not great planning. And it's even weirder too when you look at the social media accounts, right? Because Japanese account was like, hey, Korea Fan Fest. NA account was like, hey, PAX Australia panel. And it's so weird. And they could have gotten a different panel time slot. I feel like they would have enough influence with PAX to be like, hey, can we not have this at the same time as this other event we're running? But they also weren't putting any emphasis on that event for the rest of the world, which is why they said, hey, check out this cool dragon from 11. And the only time they referenced that to the global audience, right? Because Korea and China are their own versions, but they're going to be caught up instead of behind. So we're getting new information from these events. The only thing we saw about that damn dragon on social media for the global version of the game was like 11's account cheekily being like, hey, look, here's this dragon. And it's like, unless you know about the Korean Fan Fest, you're like, why are you suddenly posting about like Nidhogg Fafnir on social media? This makes absolutely no sense. And so
I think that all this illustrates why there's the feeling in the community that there has been since Dawn Trail. And yes, there's some bad actors and just people who should not be doing the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
And like, we were all waiting for this patch and it hit, I think. Like, as we're going through this, the job things. I wish that they would talk more about it, but the content's good, I think, and I think that a lot of the community does think that way. And I think that we're seeing good stuff from the story and the encounter. It's just that leftover frustration of, why did it take so long?
Yeah. Why
is it in this order? That sort of stuff that, maybe you don't want to go talk to the people who are very upset about it, but I mean, 8.0 would be a great turning point to start doing that again.
I think the problem right now, at least for again, my perspective on everything, right? I think that there's been a slump, right? I think that's undeniable. Whether it's because they have to start a new 10-year arc and it's just, it gets going a little better or worse for different people. I think there has been a slump, whatever it might be. And I think that, going forward, Obviously they have room to get better, or to even get back to where they used to be, right? But that slump is still going to be there. And so I think we need action on their part, and we need time. And hopefully, whatever the pain points are, whether it's the story, whether it's developmental resources, whether it's communication tools, hopefully they can improve on that with their billions of dollars. And, in another year or two, hopefully, preferably sooner rather than later for this.
It'd be nice.
It gets at least back to the point where things kind of used to be with communication and transparency. Because we are feeling it. And, the fact that the Black Mage changes were like, hey, Yoshida's on Black Mage. Does this look different to you guys? Like, that's not a good way to communicate job changes of this nature.
Yeah, the magnitude.
Yeah, and it's a rough ecosystem out there, I guess.
Sure.
Like just the space right now, like content creation in general. We've seen a lot of people that are prominent, 14 creators take breaks or play other things. Yeah. We're every other week now, right? We're part of that in a way. And so whatever it is, I don't think it's magical job changes at 8.0. It's not one thing. It's just a lot of little things, and they just need the resources, the tools, and time.
Yeah. And I think that I think that maybe we all can agree that this whole patch is a step in the right direction.
Yes.
Just in general. Like it is, right? Like there's a lot of good in it. And, we're trying not to super spoil, but the raid is a banger, right? Yeah. We don't want to talk about who the third one is.
Raid was fun.
Yeah. The fourth one is so Gundam. It's a very specific Gundam too, which I think I remember Yoshi P saying was his favorite at some point when someone asked him about Gundam references.
It's so interesting. Obviously, this past week was World Race. Congrats to Lucrezia for World First on stream, which is it's nice to have an on stream
amazing
World First for once. But yeah, it's funny with as 9 heavy as this fight, as this whole expansion has been.
Yeah,
I was kind of getting like big 7 Sephiroth vibes from the last fight. With
interesting.
Yeah, well, just the design of it gave me Safer Sephiroth vibes, and then there's
you're talking about M4.
S.
Yes.
S. And then there's the different platforms, you have the different parties in 7 fights. I don't know. It was just little things, but the fights were fun. The music was really good. I loved the
absolutely great.
The music for 3. Once you know what 3 is, and you just take a second to think about it a little bit.
It's on in our free company house.
Yeah, I had the rolls.
They cursed at us again.
I had the rolls drop for 2 and 4 my first time, and I didn't get them. I was like,
nice.
Damn. It was cool.
I love 3 because they curse at us again. It's 5 minutes into it or something, but they go shut the F up, and it's bleeped, and I'm like, oh, Koji?
I thought I heard a beep in that. Yeah. Well, I mean, of course it is. It's a rap. I mean, what says Japanese IP like a white guy, like the whitest guy ever rapping a song in a fight?
But it was great. 2 has a great song that I was like, I don't know, and then you get into the fight and you're like, okay, yeah, this is good too. Yeah, I don't dislike any of them.
The songs got they're all great, but they just felt like they got progressively better. Which is man, I've been having such a great music week. Like the Devil May Cry anime dropped.
Oh sure,
they got some rearrangements in there, and it's just my ears have been eating well this last couple of weeks.
Since we were talking about the raid, just to talk about Savage a little bit. World Race, you mentioned it is done. It took about the normal amount of time, I believe.
It was longer than the last one. The last one I want to say was 12.
Yeah,
11,
something under
something like that.
12 to 14. Yeah.
And this one, gosh, 15, 16, maybe.
I think you're right in that ballpark. Me.
I think it was around 16.
Yeah, it's in that ballpark.
Yeah,
it was. Good. Yeah, it's interesting fights. I mean, the second one has a phase that we have not seen in a long time. Oh my goodness!
I actually
ads that I have to think about.
See a lot of 2, so
just all you need to know is that there are ads, and there are a lot of them.
Wonderful, love it.
And they're the focus, right? So that's very interesting. like we said, the mechanics are fast. Like, you know, I've only been in M5S, but it's fast. It's a challenge for caster to get that uptime, but it's a fun challenge, right? I don't think that it goes too far. Well, with the changes, you know, I haven't played it on Red Mage, but I've played it on Black Mage and Pictomancer, and they both have been all right. Yeah. You know, you need to get mastery, and that's great. So even the raid is a step up from the previous one, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think we're going in the right direction.
The previous one was definitely really, really fun. Like after Pandemonium, which was well designed but not fun for me. I don't know. Something about the mechanics weren't fun. The last one was on the easier side, but just generally fun.
Yeah.
Seeing it be a little bit more difficult this time, and keep bringing that same level of fun. I'm like, yes.
I think with Pandemonium too, I think there was a higher degree of like seriousness. Like just thematically.
Wise.
Yeah. And so
I don't think that had to do with my particular fun when it comes to the raid, but
I think
maybe they weren't as whimsical with the mechanics, or is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I think depending on what the raid is, that opens up what you can do with the fights, right?
Gobwalkers with goblins,
yeah, and I think just given the nature of the like the wrestling thing, I think they can just be a little wacky or goofy with things, and that's I think what makes it fun, right? That
is part of it, but that's not all of it for me in particular. Like a lot of the mechanics in parts of Pandemonium just seemed mean. For the sake of being mean, for the sake of, you want a challenge? Here is a challenge.
Gotcha.
Is it a brain sparkly challenge? No, it's not.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it really depends on the person, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm thinking
Phoenix.
About all the
people fucking hated Phoenix.
Yeah,
I love
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
I liked Phoenix too. But it's like, I'm just gonna think about all the first ones, because I did this earlier in the week. Like, okay, we think of like Carbuncle. I never want to do that again, right? Like, I never want to do that one again. Think about Kokitos, right? The soccer ball memes.
Kokitos.
I don't want to do that again, right? I think there's a little bit less one person fail, we all fail. And I think that just feels better in general.
That's been my biggest gripe with battle design.
Like,
especially when that one person's not you. You don't want to be mad at your friends, but sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like, well, yep, there we go. We're starting again.
Yeah.
But like the return of damage downs, right?
Yeah.
There's damage downs when you get hit in the savage, instead of just outright murking you.
Yeah.
Right? Make the fight harder to beat. Sure. Don't make it hard to get through the body checks, because that's a lot of what people hated about Pandemonium.
Yeah,
body check after body check after body check,
and that shit. If you
that helps a lot too with prog as well. Like it's you get a little bit further even if you're doing less, and it helps a lot. So
you see more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that I really enjoy the encounter design. I think that I really want to know more about the job design.
Yeah,
but I think at least the encounter design is going in the right direction. So there is that. Once again, pour one out. Go ahead.
No, if you finish.
I was just going to say, and pour one out for machinists, because they're being not admitted to party finders for the second Savage for reasons. And it's not widespread, but it is spread enough. So that's a thing that you never want to see. So, they got some things to do.
It's interesting. Like, obviously, like when I play stuff, I always go through first on Dragoon. Like Dragoon is my main.
That's your main,
the main of my soul. But I have been playing a lot of Machinist because I like Machinist, and it's nice to not have to worry about that melee optimization uptime stuff, right? I can move around a little bit more, and it's great. This time around, I was a little further back on my gear for Machinist, so I did a lot more on Dragoon this time around. Yeah, it was an experience. And then you hop over to Machinist, and then it's just, I don't know, you don't hear anything good about it right now. No. And it's just it sucks. And again, that perspective of the devs are like, the ranged are where we want them right now. And it's like, but
Suck
what
my dick.
it's
Yeah, literally.
but it's like, but where do we want them? Also, we don't know where you want them to be because you haven't told us your grand vision. And it does, right? This is like total like conspiracy theory, but it does make me wonder how much of that destination, right, of how they want things to operate, what their grand plan is for jobs in 8.0. It makes me wonder how much of that they know right now, or if it's just like, we are going to change things, we're still working on it. I do have to wonder sometimes, because they aren't communicating anything with us. But we'll just, time will tell.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, other standouts, just because I like to talk about jobs, Viper is just ridiculous on the ad fight, just absolutely ridiculous in a very fun way for them specifically, and almost no one else, but that's okay. That's fine. That's Viper is viping, let's say, and not wiping, but viping.
Okay.
And everything else is kind of pretty all right as far as I hear. A lot of memes.
At least I'm not machinist.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy.
Absolutely. So, I mean, raid wise, I don't know. Like, it's going to take a couple more weeks for everyone to get really what they feel about the tier out, but I think it's mostly positive,
Yeah,
minus
as
some
somebody
job design
that, like,
and balancing.
Really the furthest I've gone in content since, gosh, I did a little bit of Savage in Endwalker. Usually the hardest thing I end up doing right now is just the raid, the normal raid. And one I wiped a few times on, 2 I went straight through, 3 I ended up having to queue a few times into before I beat it. 4 I think was one wipe, but like it felt good. Like it wasn't to the point where like it was annoying. Like every time I'm like, oh my god, like it was fine. It was fun. I had a good time. And this is again, I talked about it during I think I've mentioned before, but like I'm not crazy about wrestling. So like this whole raid here, I'm like, okay, but they've been fun fights. They've been fun fights. The mechanics have been good. And I've enjoyed them. So I'm looking forward to whatever
I'm not a wrestling kid, but it's quirky and funny, and I'm wondering what they're gonna do with the story. Like, because it is wrestling, there's so many ways they could take it, which would be just real fun.
They had some.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the president is just a shard of Godbert.
Yeah,
and then he'll
really
just like
think
suplex the shit out of us in the next final fight.
Please.
I really think it's the announcer.
Could be. I mean, there was a cool backstage, very wrestling moment, or someone is attacked. It's really cool that they're leaning in on that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we'll see, but I swear to you, please bring us a tag team match with Estinian. Unenhanced fighters versus 2 of your best heavyweight fighters. Let's go. I want that so bad. I know we're not going to get it. I want that.
Yeah. And then inevitably Estinian gets paid way more than we do for the.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that'd be great. He becomes famous, and they're like,
"Spends it all on a hair ribbon."
That's my favorite part of Dawn Trail. It's like he's like, I fought the one guy and he paid me, so I'm gonna go travel. And I'm like, you got paid? Man, I didn't get paid. All right, so that's combat for this patch.
Yeah,
5 hours later,
and some other stuff.
Yeah. There's some new furnishings.
Yeah,
they're all right.
You know what blows my mind?
What's that?
They put job stones in, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Well, they also what are we missing from this patch?
I don't remember.
This looks
but I
like
do remember looking at them and going, "There's some missing."
Like in game or like on the one picture? Because
game.
Really?
Yeah, I just logged out.
Because they added all the ARR jobs last patch.
I don't know. Was it last patch?
Last patch
Okay,
or
so
7.0? Like the other, like I've got
right,
like a
this
dragoon
is the other
and
half,
a bar.
I guess.
This is the other half. Yeah.
All right. Well, then why did they put them all in the first place?
Well, because things take time, I guess. Well, it's the same thing. Why didn't we have the modern wall partition when they added the modern wall design, right? I harped on them for that.
The fucking vaulted, we've said the F word and they were both mine. Sorry, twice now. Sorry, internet. The vaulted ceiling thing. That is so cool. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm gonna use the hell of it somewhere.
Oh, the little like arch thing that kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love it if I could actually put it in the
floor.
corner instead of like 5 inches out from the corner.
Listen, I'm gonna teach you how to do a thing.
Look, I shouldn't have to learn to do a thing. They should just let me do it.
You're not wrong, however.
I'm still upset that the railing in that modern design has a gap when you go upstairs on a large. There's just no railing. Drives me nuts. There's been so many little like things like that in Dawn Trail. It's like, oh my god, if you like look at textures, don't. If you're one of those people, just don't.
It's so cool. And you can add, because it's not going to work in all houses, but especially in larges, because it does have that ceiling on the top. You can suddenly have more floor. Guys, you got more floor.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah, it's true.
I will say the caution tape on the door does still bother me because it's
weird.
around the frame. That's not how that works. That's not all right.
That's not standard. Okay.
Like, put it around the door and then let the door open. Like, what? Okay. Choices were made. It's fine. Some more fish and stuff.
There's some cool arches.
Yeah. I like there's like a little like shelf thing, but it's not straight. It's like curved, just like a little bit.
It's wirbly.
That was interesting. I when I was previewing it, I was like, oh, that's all right.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
The Jobstone thing was really my only gripe, and apparently I was wrong. So
no, we got
cool.
the other half of those before.
I'm pretty happy with
good.
just about all the furniture shit we got this time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
PvP. Anybody do secure? How is secure?
I don't like it.
Yeah. That's what I hear.
But
really?
I'm not used to that type of game mode anymore. I'm sure I'll get used to it. I've just been one of those people who, while everybody else is fighting in the middle, wanders around the edges and claims all of the little outside doodles.
Sure.
That's mostly. I don't even know if that's good gameplay. I'm sure it probably is a strategy, but I don't know. I don't know how to play that one yet.
Of big brain strategies.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
I do really like being able to mount up while running.
Yes, that's good everywhere.
I expected that to be harder to remember to do than it has been. So, hooray! That's been very automatic.
I still have to like tell my brain that I can move, like that it's okay. You can press W and it won't stop. But it has been nice. It has been really weird though, just like mentally like acknowledging that like I'm telling myself you can keep moving. It's fine.
Yeah, just get into PvP a couple times. It'll teach you to do it because you're like shit. I have to go away. Shit.
Yeah. I've always slide casted the mount anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
So it's like, oh yeah, I could press it. I mean, I'm mashing the button anyway so that it goes off as soon as it does. So it just happens now, and I go, right, that's right.
Yeah,
I could do that.
And
what about
they added a bunch of new abilities? Well, not a bunch, but it's like 3 new ones per role, and they're pretty cool. There's like a DPS one that does damage through the shield, which is pretty nifty. You thought you were safe, but you're not. Haha. I mostly play on White Mage. I think there's one that just does damage if you want to do more damage. One that I think messes with healing potency, and then there's Stone Skin. Good old Stone Skin.
Stone Skin. I remember Stone Skin. Remember Stone Skin?
Yeah, I have only used the damage one because I don't heal. I definitely do heal.
The one that gets me on healer is the one that does damage and reduces target's HP recovery, because it's called Diabrosis.
Yeah.
Like you just take one from each, except for Astra. You're not involved in this. Get out of here. But it's just funny that they just kind of smush the word together.
Yeah.
I mean, you get Comet as a magical range DPS. How could you be mad? Everybody else is mad because they're like, it's all comets all the time.
And you're also going to get Comet in Occult too, and Occult
It's really nice that well, not really nice, but it's nice that they have the they've put the AoEs down, so you know when it's happening, and you can move.
Yeah.
But also like,
Mhm.
ugh.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point I'll, before the review, maybe just so we could talk about it more, I'll try to jump in. PvP is just like not my thing. So
Yeah,
All right,
it's fine,
so
yeah.
I know you're gonna wanna do up until the 5th level of the battle pass thingy, because the emote for that.
it's like chocobo
you're,
around your head.
you're being dizzy with the chocobo chicks around your head.
Yep.
So cute.
Yeah.
The other
And
thing,
that's only like 4 days of PvP in the
it's not too
stuff.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have months to do it, so you're good.
Yeah.
You'll be able to get it.
Mhm.
That's all I do anymore. I used to grind through Crystalline Conflict. Heck no, I just do a front line a day until it's over, and then it's over.
Mhm.
How are we feeling about those graphic enhancements for ARR?
Oh,
Relic?
I sure don't play this game enough to notice it.
I did. It's hard to imagine what it looked like before because of this. I would say, just like it always happens that way.
We've talked about it before, right? Our memory of a thing is always going to be better than the actual thing, and we see this, and it's like, it looks like armor.
I was mostly
there's
thinking
some,
of like the clutter and the
the zones themselves.
plants. Yeah.
Sure.
No, I haven't had any reason to visit any of the zones, so I honestly haven't really seen it. Where I have been is my house and Solution 9.
Yeah.
So
so they.
Sorry, Yoshi P. I'll go on a walk later. Promise.
I mean, I noticed it in Idleshire. That's the other place that I went. And I went, oh yeah, you know what?
Did you?
This texture is better. Yeah, just because there's a bunch of stalls, and the stalls have more stuff in them now. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So they upgraded all the ARR job relics and the first relic weapon.
That's right.
So Durg, and then they also in ARR there was like that weird other colored like AF set you could get, but you couldn't dye it.
Yeah.
They also enhanced those. So Dragoon looks real good. The only gripe, and this is, I feel like this personally targets me. So on my Dragoon, one of my things that I almost always keep the same for my glams is the weapon. I use the unfinished Gable. It's like the darker kind of like black version of the relic before you get the first relic stage. They didn't touch those.
Oh, no.
Those are the ones they didn't. So like the base Gable, then like the recolored ones, right? Until you get like the other actual like model change. They like all the variations of like that first weapon model they changed, except for the unfinished one. They didn't touch the unfinished ones, and that's just like, man, why would you do me like this?
Yeah, you want another one that is about a job that I don't play anymore, but I still feel for them sometimes. Apocalypse Zeta, which is a great relic. They copied and pasted the wrong book interior.
I
so
saw
it's the normal one, not the unique one anymore. And I'm like, man,
oh my gosh.
We only have like 5 book interiors, and that was one of the only ones you could get.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna fix it, right? Like that's fine.
Yeah.
Probably. They didn't fix some of the books that like don't die right. But yeah, it's those little things, right? There's always gonna be those tiny things.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny. I'm like, interior of books, man. Like we got to do something.
There's a couple of those ones that are glitchy, and some that they just have not fixed.
Yep.
Lisa's outfit, and I'm sure there are some other outfits and some other things that were given not only dyeability but double dye. Like Lisa's outfit was not dyeable before, and now you can dye it, and it has 2 channels, and it's so pretty, and I'm so happy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a work in progress, right? As all MMOs are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, I mean, obviously leading up to Dawn Trail, right? Yoshida's like, there's going to be parts of the game where you notice like old graphics next to new graphics. And I feel like now more so than 7.0 or 7.1 is when I'm like really feeling that, because I'll be putting glams together. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look great.
Since so much of it has been changed now, it's like, the ones that aren't just kind of,
they really stand out in a bad
I'll get to that. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that works.
Shadow quality noticed it in some cutscenes on specifically faces. That's kind of cool. Only because I've been doing a lot of roulettes, especially the main scenario one. It looks a little better on some of the close-ups of yourself and others, so that's cool.
Okay, yeah. They added Fru portrait kit.
Mhm.
So if I again, right, it's like the housing stuff. Like, why wasn't this added with the fight? Like, that should be like a mandatory thing. Like, I don't understand what happened there. It's so
many
strange.
things like that get
Yeah.
added later, though, like the orchestrion roles especially.
Mhm.
Yeah. Orchestrion role. Thank you so
welcome.
much. Thank you so much for that. So if you go over to
What have I done?
everybody's favorite achievement NPC,
Oh yes.
you can scroll down on his list and you can get, ladies and gentlemen,
Oh yeah.
the Final Fantasy XI Moghouse theme.
Yep.
Woo,
It's here.
which you specifically requested.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's little things like that
It's
that
good.
give me hope for the future of this game. I'm
know.
not like saying that to meme. Like, I genuinely mean that. Like, just little things that's like they should have
I
done
woke
this,
up one
and then they
morning-
add it, and it's like, thank you.
I woke up one morning to just like an almost nondescript message from Fusion that was like a picture of that equestrian.
Go
woman.
to the
It's
guy.
you.
Yeah.
I did. I went to the guy.
Yeah,
So-
I saw that. Like, I was in bed like patch day because I don't wake up for patch, and I'm just like scrolling through and I see somebody posted it on social media. That made me get out of bed. I was like, oh. I'm like,
I gotta go.
yeah, it was great. It was wonderful.
Other small things. Jog from Sprint.
Yeah.
I mean, it's universally.
Oh,
a
you know
great
what?
thing. But yeah.
But-
I had a not really rage moment, but kind of,
Yeah.
but not
Okay.
really. What the hell is Peloton for now?
Yep, because it doesn't stack with Peloton.
Doesn't start with
Mm.
Peloton. Jog works outside of cities, I was told.
Yes, it does.
Jog
Okay.
will work anywhere as long as you're not in combat. I've done it in dungeons.
And Peloton does not work in combat. What is Peloton for now?
Well, it's
Nothing. Welcome to Physic 2.0 on a summon.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's
Peloton.
I mean,
Peloton is for the fact that you don't get sprint up enough in dungeons. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
Well,
Make Peloton do
Peloton
something
is so you can get
else.
those time chests in 1.0 at the end of a dungeon. Yeah, they
Make
need
Peloton work in battle. Will it last for very long? No.
Yeah, honestly, give it the same duration as the scholar thing. Scholar is the only one that can do that right now. Give it to range DPS. Give them a little
yeah,
bit of
makes perfect sense.
yeah.
I had somebody be like, but Scholar, blah blah blah. It's like, listen, you still get the other buffs from your Scholar experience. Okay, Peloton just makes you faster. Calm down.
Yeah,
There's no use.
they could either it feels weird to just have a move faster button, like maybe pair it with
I've
something.
always loved the move faster button. It is very helpful in dungeons. I want to get them in
Yeah.
and I want to get out as soon as possible.
Yeah,
however,
I mean, they could keep it that way. They could combine it with tactician or something. Maybe I don't know. That's I mean, I use that for like stacks, so that would be weird. But yeah, like make it usable in battle. Like make it a thing because yeah, they did. I hadn't really thought about that. It is
Yeah.
kind of irrelevant now. Oops.
Yeah.
it has the one use.
Yeah.
If
Yep,
you can think of anything else, beautiful internet friends, remind
Yeah.
me. Make me feel better for poor Peloton.
Yeah. Well, it's such a small part of the job identity, but or role identity, but it is there.
It's
So
it's
you
one
gotta
of the
keep it.
leftover like buff things that you can actually do for people.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that we still have as far as job identity.
And
Mhm.
I just think about like how it's just obsolete now. And Yoshida's like, yep, no, range classes are exactly where we want them right now. Completely useless.
It's not in the long run and in comparison to a lot of other job things. It's
Yeah.
really not a big deal.
Yeah.
But also, come on.
I
Also,
think honestly and we talked about it a little earlier. We don't need to go too far deep back into it, but battle's getting quicker, things dodge faster.
Exactly.
Let us use it.
Give it a
Mhm.
beat.
Let us use it during fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't, Zen's gonna get eat after midnight and just storm the SE headquarters with all of her gremlin army, and
It's true.
so there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not. Oh gosh. Okay, look, I'm gonna say it just real quick and only real quick. Blacklist is not fixed, but
that's right. And I even found a thing and was like, we should talk about this. Yeah. So
I don't. Yeah.
I
didn't want to say it.
Yeah. No. It's we need to talk about it.
We could be quick.
Yeah. So for those not in the know,
we can't because Peloton doesn't work in battle.
God. Are we in combat right now?
We are.
Oh man. So a while back there was a plugin that let people find people, potentially stalk people. Square Enix like, well, that's no bueno. And they said they're going to look into fixing it. They were considering legal action. So with this update, they put in what presumably was like this is what we can do now measure, not the ultimate measure of fixing it.
Right. Yeah.
It lasted a few hours at best, is what it sounds like. So people have already found workarounds, etc. And that's just kind of where that's at. Obviously, I can't speak to, I'm not in web security or engineering or at any of that. I don't know any of this, how it works. Right. But I feel like if Square Enix has competent people working on this stuff, which I have no reason to assume they're not competent, right? Not like insulting anybody, but they probably know that this wasn't going to be a permanent solution. Does it suck that they probably spent more than 2 hours implementing it and then it was, that's not great. But I'm sure they're working on something else. We don't know what that is. Obviously the fact that honestly, if they were like, we're thinking about legal action, and then they try to fix this or restrict it, and there's already a way to get around that somebody has developed, I would say maybe those somebodies would probably have been aware Square Enix doesn't want that, were aware Square Enix was considering legal action, and maybe those should be the people that they take that action against. But yeah, it's still a thing. It sucks. It's, and it's we've talked about it too previously. This is going to take time and resources that could take away from other things. So depending on just, exactly how busy and packed that development schedule is. So I don't know
why people so rude.
I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm sure they're still working on it. Just like they're still working on that that battle planner whiteboard thing.
Yeah.
Remember that exists.
And that was mentioned in something that did not get translated very easily. Like they said, hey, it wasn't ready. It wasn't good enough, so it'll probably be 7.3.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what, cool. That's what Odagiri told us at PAX. They're like, it wasn't, it's not where we wanted it to be. It's so funny too, because I mean, you think about when it was announced, you're like, oh, this is going to be like one of the only new features of 7.0, and we're not going to get it until maybe 7.3, and even then it's going to be like we're still working on it, but here's what we have so far, just because it's been 3 patches since the expansion.
I would take all the way to 8.0 if it makes it useful. Take as much time as you need, because the raid plan situation, even for this one, it's like there's multiple raid plans. Which one are we doing? I don't know about this one or that one.
Yeah,
it won't fix that because people are going to do it in different ways, but at least it might keep you from having to go to a URL on a separate site.
I did have to laugh a little bit. Was it last week, this week? One of the social posts they made, it showed Calyx with all his screens, and the comment was like looking up what all the different strategies and Party Finder mean. And I'm like, that's kind of part of the problem right now with the way everything is working. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, I hope people find it useful, because God knows they've been working on it a long time. But
take your time, do it right. Do not make it the duty recorder, which is useful to someone.
That was some other talk too, that
one person.
The updates that they made for the other thing that didn't quite pan out also apparently made it so you couldn't use the other thing for at least for a little bit. Yeah.
Sure.
And anytime
I know exactly what
anytime I hear about parsing, I just think, man, there was, I think it was like Frankfurt Fan Fest, Yoshida's like, yeah, parsing, blah, blah, blah. We're going to like look into something, that maybe might be like officially and help with that. And that was how we got
thing was?
Duty Recorder.
And Stone Sky Sea.
And it's, well, we had that before, I think, didn't we?
That's what they were saying is like the measurement. Like, and then people said that's not good enough, and then they were like parsing, and then Duty Recorder. But that was the solution that they first thought of.
See, that's another thing that would be like on my list of questions that sound just like an angry person. What are you doing with Duty Recorder? like here, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm still in the patch notes.
We can workshop that one.
Recorder. All right. So if you're in Duty Recorder right now, right, we just had the second tier of Arcadian come out. Maybe you're progging that. You'd like some help? No. You're gonna get help with Warcore Lardor, which has been on there since the last patch. You'll still be able to do light heavyweight M4 Savage. If for whatever reason you're just really struggling on Juno the First Walk, I have some great news for you. That's the only thing that got added to the Duty Recorder this patch. What are you doing with Duty Recorder? What is the purpose of Duty Recorder?
It's they have to grow in so many directions, right? And I just think that they were like, this is a great idea, we're gonna work on it, and it just deprioritized,
left
and
behind.
It's
like from the people that brought you fellowships comes Duty Recorder.
No.
Like,
I would legitimately like to, in a kind, understanding voice, ask, why is Duty Recorder always so far behind actual content?
Yeah.
Is there a legitimate reason for that? Yeah. Why?
And
honestly,
is there some method to the madness?
I would go back, just because I don't want anything to be lost in translation. I would go back, rewatch. I think it was probably a live letter from Frankfurt. Find out exactly what he said. Be like, originally you said XYZ. This came out, and now this is what it is. Yeah. What happened?
But if they're, and I'm not going to bring us back to this topic wholesale, but I just wanted to say it because it feels like a good time to say this. Yeah, they're not talking about Duty Recorder because they're not even talking about jobs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like the small stuff. Yeah, that makes sense that they may not talk about Duty Recorder. They might come back up. But yeah, it's just general communication.
Maybe that's why they don't want to give us, or if we were to ask about an interview, why they might turn us down. It's like, you guys ask really good, important questions, and we don't want to touch those right now.
Let's give it to. And this is no shade on gaming media in general. It's just most of the time it's to outlets who have a generic coverage, like, and that's fine. But they're going to ask different questions to the people. Yeah, and you need to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how you grow. That's how the game grows. Yeah, and but
like,
we all know how 14's been doing. Even with the mixed reception of Dawn Trail, the quarterlies came out, and it's like, whoop, still doing better than ever. So, yeah, but I mean, that's always what we've been known for. Even before even before 1.0 came out, we were always asking this like super niche questions about stuff. So,
got I think about that.
Even when we shared an E3 interview with I think it was like Fox Business News or something, we had a weird slot, but it's fine. And again, no shade to anybody. That's just the reality we live in. We haven't asked for one. I think we should. I think it's time. I think we should just do it. We should. Final Fantasy 11 is also I think 23 years old next month. Maybe there's something there. They had a killer April Fool's
did they? I didn't
post.
catch that.
Yeah, I just another quick tangent. I'll pop Peloton on here real quick. We didn't get anything for 14. I don't remember seeing anything.
No, not that I know.
11 has historically done fake patch notes. And they mentioned a new monorail system going up in the town of Selfiner, which if you know or don't, I'll explain it real quick. It's a town that was in an unused map that's been in the DAT files for years, and I think they just casually dropped unused concept art that we've never seen in these patch notes.
That's
of
amazing.
This zone. Like what?
Like Selfina, is that Selbina, but not
The kanji is made just a little bit different.
Yeah.
But it's close enough to like probably yes. And it's also roughly in the same area where it would be, because we have the original 11 map that they put out as part of their 20th anniversary website a couple years back. It is translated. It's up on the site. But yeah, go check it out. It is wild. And they're just like, yeah, and just like here's like this. I'm like, is this official like concept art of this zone that never officially existed? Like what?
It's a great use of April Fool.
I love that. I love it so much. Yeah, there's also throwbacks like some NPCs will now take items in exchange of gil, cheese sandwich. Play online music has been added to the menu launcher. It's just like, it's great stuff. Quality stuff. If you've ever played 11, even if you're not active, go check those out. They're fantastic.
Yeah. WoW has done that for probably the same amount of time as 11, if they didn't get it from 11, because their April Fools is always fake patch notes.
Whoever like was in charge of writing these like knows everything about the game.
Right.
Just the weirdest callbacks. Like it was fantastic. Well done whoever did those. But I think that's it. I think we've covered a lot of stuff.
Trying to think if there's any other big ticket stuff. No, I haven't done the treasure hunt to get the new thing. It looks cool. There's a lot of new glamour that I like.
There's a couple. Cool. Yeah, there's like a new like streetwear with like the pearlescent. Whatever that effect is, like the Solution 9 kind of iridescent. Yeah. There's some new street clothes with like that on there a little bit. There's like that new, I thought maybe it was from like the Hildebrand stuff later on, but there's that new kind of like jacket with like the pants with like the hip pistol, which is like kind of funny because it's like the most realistic pistol we have in the game, and it's just attached to pants. But yeah, like, so that's in there. That's cool. But yeah, I think at this point, anything else we'll throw in.
Oh, my goofy glasses! The glasses
instead of the mini nebula. That was a cool touch.
Yeah.
I like that's the, like, as much as minions are great, like it's nice to see something else that might be fun to have at the end of a
definitely
little rate tier.
They were talking about better rewards, and I think that counts as one of them for sure, because glamour is the true end game, as we all know. So that's cool. That's nice.
I immediately made a 50s glamour around this silly pair of glasses that I got.
There you go. So yeah, I think at this point, anything else that we have found that we have omitted will just be part of our review again 2 weeks from now. So that'll be like full-blown spoilers, review, scores, all that stuff. So please,
and we won't talk about job updates.
I mean,
it'll go into the other for me for sure.
Probably will.
Yeah, I mean, other is a very broad category. We can put many things into it.
It's gosh, I'm gonna let us keep going, but even the fact that job stuff is in other makes me go, yeah, but isn't that the main way you interact? It's just the way that this game is, right?
Well, it's also the way our review is laid out.
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't make sense most of the time to put it in there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It
wouldn't even make hard. Sense. Everybody trying to take an MMO and be like, okay, but like we get 5 categories.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I noticed today when I was trying to look up what our categories were, because I was like, shit, is the review today? Here's my score. I don't know.
I wake up now. I didn't see scores. I'm like, thank you for getting done ahead of time. I wrote it on the paper
just in case. Okay. Anyway, what we used to put down for the 4th thing instead of trial is battle content.
Yeah.
Which sort of morphed into trial, because that tended to be the only battle content. However, you could make a case for job changes being in battle content.
Sure.
Yeah, but it got weird too, because trial also used to mean a different storyline, and it doesn't anymore.
It was more than just a fight. Yeah.
Square Enix
Anyway,
is making the
changes.
That's just a little view into how often we're like, what the heck are our little thingies this time?
Yeah, it's tough.
Categories what?
Yeah, I mean it's now that 7.1 is rough because you don't have trials yet, right? And traditionally, yeah, we've only done these for 2 expansions now, but I mean, one time we had like Foundation was like a patch category.
Yeah.
And now we're pretty locked into like just story, dungeon, trial, raid, other is kind of just what we're in. But I mean, honestly, if anybody has any ideas of like
any feedback,
better ways to do this, let us know, because I've been thinking about it. We've been thinking about it. It is not easy.
Yeah, to keep one format.
Yeah, it is rough out there, everybody.
Especially when we split it amongst 4 people.
Yeah, it's you got to go for that perfect hundo, if it's math, because numbers are hard. It's easier when it's just 100, right? It scales easily, and it's a nice number. So, but anyway, that's an us problem.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for this week, everybody. As a reminder, we do have our Patreon. Our latest Dungeon Disaster is now available. We went into the Lunar Subterrane, so go check that out. If you are part of our Adventurer tier at $5, you will get access to that a week ahead of time. We do also now have a new $1 Sprout tier. If you want just your name in the credits, $1 a month, that'll put your name into the credits of every podcast episode we do here, as well as the Dungeon Disaster content for that month. So again, if you're able to do that, we do greatly appreciate your support. And if not, no worries, we're still going to be here, so don't sweat it. If you want, you can find me on the internet. Blue Sky, Raffledurg. Twitch sometimes, Raffledurg. YouTube, Raffledurg X, because somebody else took it from like 20 years ago. It's fine, don't worry about it. That's me. At some point, I keep promising that I'm gonna like unbox some 11 merch that I got like in January. That's also like merch that was released like a year before that. I'm getting to it. I've been cleaning, trying to make room for it.
Cleaning's hard.
It's rough. I have so many things. Like it's better than it was, but it's just boxes. It's boxes of stuff. The biggest box, it still has my Heidel and Zodiark statue because I don't have a shelf that it can fit on. It's been sitting in that box for like a year and a half. It's just been there. Again, that's a me problem. But that's where you can find me, Zen.
Sometimes I just like to look at the shelves behind Fusion and see what new things I can
I
find.
have so much stuff. What's new? What do I?
I'm here for tacos.
Well, that was the PAX bag this past year.
Yeah,
I got
I'm jealous.
the
It's good.
posable frog, like the frog mascot gear you can get. They made a little thing of that.
I did notice that little guy. I don't think the duck is new, but I don't think I've noticed it.
Oh, the
before.
duck. That's the Batman Returns.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not on the internet. I've decided to take the Alduino path to things. And
Honestly, probably better that way.
Yeah, be here and only here. No, I have been given permission to ignore Twitter, so I mostly am.
Excellent.
I am on Blue Sky. Zenidra is spelled the same way, said the same way. Although people really have an issue pronouncing this name. And I don't even correct them anymore because I just feel bad.
It's Zenidra, right?
Zenidra.
Side effects may include
Zenidra. There's a lot of just weird.
Aaron.
Anyway.
Yes.
Aaron. Sometime in the future, maybe 5 years from now, I might do something on my Twitch, Strawberry Bob. But I do stuff on Twitch at plus the word one, the number shot, the word plus one shot. It's D&D usually. Sometimes it's a different tabletop, but it'll always be a tabletop related activity because that's what that channel is for. Yesterday I played Spooners of Faith. And today I'm gonna play D and Diablo. We are in the final stretches of D and Diablo. Soon we will fight Diablo.
I was gonna ask. I didn't want to like presume, but
Yeah.
it feels like that's where that could go. Yeah.
Yep. I think we're like two of 5 seals broken to go beat up a guy.
Okay.
Can I tell you guys a secret? I don't think anybody else in the game plays or watches this, so I'm gonna tell you guys a secret.
Sure.
I asked to pull a card from the deck of many things. I was looking for a particular card to get a charisma boost. I did not get that card. Instead, I got a card that leveled me up twice. So I'm 2 levels higher than everyone else.
Yeah.
None of them know.
Excellent.
I didn't tell them.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's the best part about D&D is
then just one shot Diablo.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Love it.
Is it me? It's me?
It's you. It's your turn.
I'm here, and only here. Yeah, and also Blue Sky. Have I posted there? No. I like a lot of things.
It's true.
And I follow that.
Audio's like some of my posts.
Yeah, I just kind of scroll through and go, okay, that's cool. Do I want to post? Maybe I have something to post. Why would I do that? And I keep going.
Posting's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe one.
You like type words out. It's a lot.
Yeah, and then I am on plus word when the number shot the word. That's where I'm more active than at least Blue Sky, and maybe technically here, because it's every week that I'm on, either for Splinters of Faith, that campaign that Zen mentioned from yesterday, or our talk show where we just talk about tabletop games like Fabula Ultima, or we haven't talked about the 14 TTRPG. We're trying to wait till everything comes out. Or Lancer, or other non D&D things, or
Daggerheart.
new D&D
Sometimes
things.
We do one shots.
Yeah, and we do one shots. So if you're interested in that, that's where I'll be.
Guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do one shots on plus one shot.
What?
Very vanishingly few times.
Yeah.
But we do.
Usually it's full campaigns.
Yeah.
That's why it's plus one shots.
Exactly.
Each episode is a one shot, but it has sequels.
Many.
One of them is on like 58 or something.
Lots of sequels.
Phillips.
Is that campaign based around The Land Before Time?
Stop.
Maybe. I don't know. Could have.
I'm gonna pull it up. Phillips is on 56.
56, got it.
D and Diablo, I think, is in the 60s.
I'm gonna say, yeah, you've been doing that one for a while.
64.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it's quite a lot to catch up on if you wanted to. Or just watch one that's new, and you'll figure it out. I believe in you.
Yeah. Easy.
That's it for me.
All right. If you want, you can email us aetheryteradio@gamerscape.com. You can find us on socials at Aetheryte Radio. And of course, as Gamerscape, X, Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Obviously, if you're listening to this right now live, it's on one of those 2 platforms. You already know about it.
Your turb.
Durber.
I like how for the first ones you were like, you can find us on socials. But this next one, I'm going to
it's X and Blue Sky. Everybody knows the spiel. It's on the screen. Just go on the thing, type in Aetheryte Radio. It's not like there's other Aetheryte radios. Nobody wants to impersonate us. It's fine.
You say that, but wasn't there like another talk show that used an Aetheryte icon that you made at one point?
Oh no, I don't mean to throw shade. That was a Twitch team that that used the original Aetheryte that I made. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's funny. It's not bad. Everybody was
nice
and cordial.
They thought it was
about
official.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, we're on Discord, discord.gg/gamerescape. We have a patch spoilers channel, but it's going to be going away because it's been a couple weeks, so we're kind of
pretty active this time around
at
too.
this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like nobody in there for the last one.
It's because this time was better.
But it's great. Yeah, it's great. People are in there chatting about the patch. So yeah, that's it. That's gonna do it for this week. So again, patch review for 7.2 will be happening here in 2 weeks. That's gonna be April 19th. So if you want to know what the score is gonna be, we're gonna give it a number, and
It's gonna be out of 100.
it's gonna be out of 100.
It's gonna be more than
100.
50 and less than 100.
I think that's probably.
That's
Yeah.
maybe. Could be.
I think it'll even be
You're
more
just
than
like all
50.
zeros.
Yeah. Just in spite of trying to predict it. No, zeros across the board.
Shoot.
I wouldn't do that.
I mean, I could see you doing that as like a really quick joke.
I
Sure.
would backtrack it so fast.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's it. So full spoilers and all that when we are back for that. So that's gonna do it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.